Hello and welcome to another week of the Abusecartoons Livestream. A little bumpy start there. Of course, OBS asked me to update and all kinds of fun proceeded. But I think we're good. So just let me know if anything is out of whack. But this is the best we're gonna do. So yeah, I think we started on other platforms and then we're back. Hey dude, how's it going? Hey K5. All right. Yes. So sorry, getting a little bit of a late start, but yeah, there was some bugs to be worked out. I went live a couple of times. Fortunately, YouTube didn't know anything about it because I was getting an error. So you guys didn't get a bunch of random notifications, but always fun. Yeah, this is only going to get more and more messy. The older I get, I think the further away from being able to deal with all these random these random fires that happen when you're live streaming. But maybe that'll be part of the entertainment. All right. Yeah, I watched a professor at the university literally spend almost 10 minutes trying to make a shortcut instead of just typing in maps and having Chrome autofill it. He spent about 10 minutes making a shortcut on that screen, that first screen you get on Chrome, the blank welcome screen, creating a shortcut to Google Maps. It was amazing. Yeah. And he's pretty savvy. Like he does all of his presentations digitally. So has a ton of tablets and does a lot of crazy scientific imaging software and stuff that he uses to generate things for lectures, as well as some like kind of flowchart software and things for quick graphics. So I thought he would he'd have no problem. Oof. Yeah, I guess it's just like if you get your head not around something correctly, you'll just spend a bunch of time spinning your wheels if it's kind of outside of what you understand. But that was amazing. So obviously he's not doesn't do much with the internet, but that was fascinating to watch. And there, but for the grace of God, go I. Yeah, that's gonna be me in about 10-15 years. Because who knows how the hell we're going to be getting online. We'll have to ask permission to chat GPT. I wonder what the... probably all the investors, like all the companies like Microsoft that invested all this money in that platform, why it's getting so much press. Because who cares? Whoa, that's the wrong tool. It's just weird and disruptive, and trying to threaten every legal aid and library assistant all over the world. A chatbot can do everything you can do for one low licensing fee. Yeah, but I thought the only thing that I saw nice. The one thing I saw that I thought was encouraging was that OpenAI said that they were making tools to help recognize text that was written by the chat GPT bot, chatbot thing. So I thought that was I think that should be required. That should just be a requirement of all software, especially, like the AI art software and everything. It needs to be able to detect itself, be able to compare versus the data set that it used and everything, because it didn't use it legally. So why shouldn't it have to identify itself? But then, of course, you're going to get like the people that are included in that data set. You'll get some false positives because the people that are overrepresented. Dude, that's already yeah technology. Well, that's mostly where this cartoon came from, is just hating iPhones. A big inspiration was divorce and iPhones. Divorce and iPhones have brought us to this. Yeah, that's how this all got going. I think I've done this exact cartoon before, so I got to figure out something else to change the context of this cartoon. I think I've done this exact heart-shaped box thing. Put something ugly in the heart-shaped box, like a stone. Let's see how that looks. Just something very non-edible looking. But yeah, I think I've done this open box. Something like that. Heart like a stone. All right. Oh yeah, and maybe one of these on top of it. The inability to love or be loved. As symbolized by a rock. Okay, I'm going to have to do another fill here. Oh, where's the rock? Where is it? There it is. Okay. Yeah, I did a board game project recently, and yeah, that's when you get into the million layers in Photoshop kind of deal. I forgot, you need to, how you need to name everything all the time and keep those names workable. Yeah, so I handed over, I got through the finished pieces, but then I handed over the, how's that going to look? I should put it somewhere weird. Yeah, there we go, somewhere like that. I handed over the finished Photoshop files and realized they were just a mess. So if anyone wants to sort through those, but I wasn't going to spend, they weren't going to pay me for the hours that it would take to rename all my layers so that they're identifiable or more usable layer files. If they would, I guess I could do that. But yeah, it's a funny thing. That was the thing with digital animation too, and things like After Effects. You can really get into trouble if everything is just named layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Let's see here. Maybe sitting a little crooked. Yeah, that's not quite long enough, is it? I'm going to do a little bit there. Okay, so a rock. Have I done this exact image as well? Maybe. Yeah, but that'll be something for Valentine's Day. All right. Yeah, so the lid is nowhere to be found. Let's go with that. Okay, let's see what we can do. So this is actually coming out. Oh, this is today's cartoon. All right. So what are we doing? Yeah, so good to see everyone in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well. It's kind of calmed down weather-wise here. It's not freezing every night in a way that we can't do, the roads become impassable, so that's good. That was getting a little bit dangerous, not knowing how easy it would be to get out of the house. Yeah, living on a mountain that where it almost never freezes, and then it does freeze, is not the best. All right. right. And things like so people are asking, oh, you should get chains. You should have studs on studded tires or chains for your tires for the one day, like every 10 years that I would need them. Doesn't seem to make sense. And I don't think on just pure ice, it's gonna make much difference. The only thing is, salt and weighting, I think, is the only thing to do. Yeah. Because I can understand, like, the actual snowy areas in Japan. That would make sense. And also, too, we wouldn't drive this ridiculous car, this tiny little K car. Not the Reliant K car. It's like, K is the designation for a car under a certain number of cc, the engine. It's really tiny. It's like a lawnmower engine, basically, in a car. Maybe there are probably lawnmowers with better engines in them. It's probably I don't know, like a some sort of gardening tool, like a leaf blower engine or something, and it's really tiny. So it's not a great highway car. It's instant death because you don't even have the bulk of an engine protecting you. But it's really good for getting around town. But I couldn't imagine, like, these could never be popular cars in the U.S. The cool thing is, though, you can get them for like under $5,000. They're very, very cheap. Whereas I think, like, the smallest car, even like at the smallest Hyundai, is still 15 grand in the U.S. So these cars, and on the used market too, and because Japan builds reliable cars, they last forever. So the used ones, you can literally get a car for $1,000, $2,000. It's not that old, that actually works. I mean, it's a death trap on the highway, but other than that, if you're in the city or if you are in the outlying smaller towns, it's convenient. But yeah, once you get a truck roaring by you, it's like that scene in Brazil, if you've seen that Terry Gilliam movie where he's got the main character's got his little tiny, those, I forget what those are called, but those cars that literally have the lift off. They're a single person car, and I think they might be 3 tires. They might only have 3 wheels, but you feel like that if any size truck passes you. And fortunately, a lot of the freight trucks are smaller than in the U.S. anyhow, so it's not so terrifying. But yeah, the big long haul tractor trailers, when they go by you. You realize you are an insignificant dot, that they wouldn't even feel it if they ran you over. Oh, cool. K5, I didn't know about that. Yeah, Velcro pads, that would be really cool. Yeah, they have like a nylon chain tire, like nylon chains you can like easily put on your driving, like your front wheel drives. Hey Matt, how's it going? I'm so close, but I'm so close to finishing Blade Runner, the last session. And not only do we have this 90-minute last session, but we probably have another 30-minute epilogue. So I'll do like an epilogue episode, because we talk so much about the characters and like kind of what they're going to do, like where their directions are and kind of like their thinking. And it's not really part of the story. I started to edit it in, and then it's like, this is like, Return of the King levels of like trying to end this episode. And 2-hour episode would probably be a little bit much. So I kind of cut it when the story ended, and then we've got about 30 minutes of epilogue. So there'll be one more. Yeah. You guys had a nice discussion afterwards, and I don't want that to be lost. So maybe that can be, Patreon exclusive or whatever. I don't know. We'll still have to do that debriefing too. Once you guys get a chance to listen to it again, we should talk about the adventure. But man, it's dark at the end. I wonder if I should put a content warning, because there's there's a lot of parent death and crazy life and death decisions for these poor replicants. So I wonder how the reaction, and it ends. It seems to end a little abruptly, so we'll see. But it's hard to get through, so it's taken me forever. And of course, my wonderful computer setup has betrayed me. All right, let's just do like that. But yeah, it's really, and it's been long. It's taken me long enough to get to this last part. I've forgotten so much of the choices and things that happened. So I'm feeling it like listeners will. I'm like following the feeling of the story and everything. The one thing that I'm going to need you and you Matt as a patron and the patrons to do is let me know if I should edit. So I'll release this as like the members only one, and you get a free jacket with it. And let me know if there's too much like laughing and stuff. I edited out a lot of it, but I'm worried that because I was just like laughing out of like nervousness and shock when a lot of stuff was happening, but it sounds a little bit sinister. Maybe I have a terrible sinister laugh. It sounds a little sinister, so I was worried. I'm worried how that's going to come off as someone that's just listening to the story. It's like, oh, these sadistic weirdos playing this game, or at least the GM. So I'll really need your opinion if there's too much laughing during the really brutal stuff. But it was just like shock laughter, it's just like, oh my god, kind of stuff. I think I say that a couple of times. But I want to know if that ruins the tone, because I can go back and take even more out. Yeah, I'm being super conservative with the video card now. It's got its own power supply, but that doesn't help. There's obviously something wrong with the card, or there's something weird that the driver is doing, because it'll just shut off. But I'm being super conservative, so I just restart the computer like every 30 minutes and clear caches and don't put any extra. There's nothing else running but Premiere when I'm editing, so that I don't run into no Chrome open or anything, just so I don't run into whatever is causing that glitch. And it seemed to be okay. It just takes longer to do everything, because I have to, be saving every couple of minutes and then restarting every 30 minutes just to be sure. Because when you're in the middle of working, although Premiere's pretty good at rescuing your files, but sometimes they get corrupted, so I don't want to take that chance. But yeah, I bought the power supply because that was the cheaper option. But like I said, this weird HP rig has this kind of proprietary like little wiring harnesses for the power, or all the cables are non-standard. So I had to do the kind of daisy chaining thing to get it to to be able to add any sort of power supply, because I can't change it out. No standard power supply would work, and I'm not gonna hunt for a used, because all of them are very low wattage anyhow. Look for a used HP. Yeah, it's a very weird thing. They put a okay video card in there, and then they didn't give it enough power. So it may have been actually the design of the system that fucked the card. Maybe over time it just that doesn't look right, does it? Let's try that again. Trying to get one of those IHOP syrup things. A generic, non-denominational. All right. Is that even worse? Actually, maybe I don't need the line in it. I guess, yeah, the face will be down there. Yeah, we'll see. See how that was. Oh, no, there isn't. I've got a service that I use for the videos. I use the Motion Array for all of the rights-free. Some of it is rights-free, some of it's not, but I do get a license with the subscription, so I have to, dispute all of the claims. But no, yeah, there's not that Apple level of support. I think it includes some free like titling, like some stylized titling, so you can do like lower thirds and stuff, default ones. And then there's some free stuff that Adobe gives away. But as far as music, I don't think so. But I've got a lot of sound effects libraries and stuff I've purchased over the years for animation. So I did a lot of Flash stuff, so I've got a lot of goofy sound effects. All right. Oh, maybe a tiny stack of pancakes. I don't know why that sounds amusing. Yeah, I'll just do one and then stack them up. The silver dollar. Maybe don't draw it on the plate. Let's try it again. So just a small pancake. I'll do a stack of them. Oh, they wouldn't have layers, would they? Oh. Guess I should draw one more. So they're a little randomized. Yeah. Yeah, I was having some trouble finding good sources for Memory Lab stuff that looked like the Memory Lab. But I think it did okay. Oh, and I used the map. I used the map and kind of tokens for the combat, but I don't think it was necessary because we didn't strictly follow the zones or anything. So we'll see. But I guess it's good to kind of represent that in a little bit more realistic way. But yeah, I'm curious. Curious what you think. So we've got about maybe 10 more minutes. Oops, of the 90 minutes to go. Then I'll render it and get it on the Patreon. Okay, so maybe a ridiculous pile of pancakes, right? Where is this? Okay, this one. Okay, there we go. So let me put these in a folder so I don't have pancakes everywhere. See, I can learn. I can be taught. See, me drawing food is like ruining everyone's night. Always K5. I make K5 make runs for the drive-through. Oh, yeah, waffle. Oh, I haven't had. So they do waffles here in very limited ways. Like nobody makes them waffles at home, which is very strange. I have a waffle iron, but it's hard to get some ingredients like baking powder is hard to find and stuff. But or what is it? Baking soda, whatever is in waffles. But they have these. They do it with pancakes too. They'll have waffle places or pancake places where they'll have beef gravy on waffles, or they'll have like a cream stew, like cream vegetable stew on waffles. So of course the waffles don't have any sugar in them. So maybe more European style, like crepes, how they have like savory crepes and sweet crepes. They do that with pancakes and waffles here. Maybe that is a European thing. I never noticed if that was a thing, but all right. So now we have syrup contemplating what to do about this tiny stack of pancakes. All right. Maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah, so they have different recipes for those different ones, yeah. Pan breakfast cake sexual. Any breakfast based thing that gets cooked, grilled, or yeah, I don't know. I was very waffle prejudiced. I guess because with frozen waffles, I ate a lot more waffles with Eggo frozen waffles in my life. Oh man. Oh yeah, of course, Twitter. I noticed Chris was in the fray with Twitter and the Hogwarts Legacy or whatever it's called, the Harry Potter game that's got everybody freaked out. So the declarations, if you stream this game, you are not an ally, are being thrown around. I mean, it's like, it's the internet. Of course, there's going to be people that are just doing it to, you know, be antagonistic. Trolls, as they call them. But there are people that, just intentionally want to rile, want to kick the beehive, and of course it works every time. It's so funny, that makes me feel my age or my generation, because I don't give a crap about Harry Potter. I've always hated. I was really surprised. Like, a lot of people I respected, like people that wrote comics and things, were just like so blown away, and oh my god, I really wish I could have done that. I could have come up with Harry Potter, or could have done something with that sort of appeal. And like, ugh, really? I don't get it. I never thought that was good. It just preys on some of those weird Anglophile queer, not queer as in oddball, love of private schools and uniforms and old buildings. It's like, whatever. There's always been a fetish for that. Like Japanese anime is always like flirted with all that weirdness. But yeah, just taking advantage of a bunch of like, yeah, just odd stuff I had zero interest in. I mean, when there is actually good fantasy out there, who the hell needs wizarding school? But that's just grumpy old me. Right. Yeah, and I think that's coming up too with sorry. Yeah, Matt was saying art versus the artist. Hate the art if the artist is reprehensible. Yeah, it's coming up with the Justin Roiland thing, with Rick and Morty. I thought, I always enjoyed the writing on Rick and Morty, and now they're saying that, he was like not involved with it since like the season one. And I don't know if that's just to save their brand, because they've got $1 million, multi-million-dollar brand with that show, so they may be just releasing that stuff, saying things like, he only put himself in the position to do voices because he knew you can't be fired from voices, which, Ren and Stimpy proved that's not true. John Kay was thrown off of Ren and Stimpy, and everything was done by what's his face, the amazing voice of oh god, I can't think of any names. Who is the amazing voice actor? So he originally did Stimpy, and then he took over Ren when Nickelodeon grabbed it away from Spumco. Bum bum bum. Yeah, somebody did a really depressing kind of survey of the decline of John Crickfalusi. Billy West. Jesus, should be a really easy name to remember, but it's really depressing. Like how, but it's the exact same thing. So, and I think people made Justin Roiland comparisons, John Kay, Justin Roiland comparisons, saying that these guys are kind of goofy perverts that immediately abuse their power. So John Kay got accused of harassing young girls at the working for him. And yeah, it just sounds like, and well, I think all of animation has a little bit of that problem. I wonder if that's a people that are attracted to animation or whatever in general, because Pixar and everybody had the inappropriate hugging reports from what was the former head of Pixar and all that stuff. So who knows? Maybe it's an animator thing. They are too lonely. Doing lonely, repetitive drawing makes you a sex pest. But that's a shame because, I don't care about Adult Swim protecting their brand. It's fine if that show just completely goes away. it's fine. But if it becomes one of those things like Harry Potter, where it's like, oh, you can't possibly. Well, already the fan base was getting pretty hated, but you can't possibly enjoy that show because of its, legacy. Yeah, but I feel the same. I feel the same way, and that you do, Matt. About generally, I don't say, and I think that's just a you're being a little. It's virtue signaling to say I will never read, another Harry Potter book again. Oh, did you see? Speaking of Harry Potter, I'm obviously too caffeinated, but speaking of Harry Potter, there was someone that was attempting to publish those books, removing the author's name. And they were going to justify the theft by saying, we can't enjoy these books anymore with the author and her her terrible opinions, so we will publish them with her name stripped out. It's so funny if they get away with that. I mean, they can't, because the monster, the legal monster that would protect that. But it's very funny. It's a very funny approach. But yeah, some company was trying to. You can enjoy the books, but you don't have to see that horrible woman's name. But I was just saying, yeah. Oh yeah, but I'm usually of that, and it's always. I mean, a lot of things come from very troubled people. A lot of great works of art, and very interesting, approaches that nobody ever had before, or ways of dealing with the world or whatever, come from pretty fucked up people. So, are we gonna say like stand-up comics get a lot of that because they're all drunken pill heads, coke heads, and whatever, and they get accused of being terrible people? Yeah, that's kind of in a lot of cases just implied that they. That's why they can work in bars endlessly. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Oh, maybe like this. But yeah, it's funny, and it's weird how so much is used to virtue signal. It's just like, yeah, you got to signify you're part of the team. So the attack is you're not an ally if you stream. So you will no longer be allowed to virtue signal because you have proven yourself. We're taking your ally card away, which is in itself a virtue signal. Yeah, these purity tests are. I don't think people quite realize what they're setting up for themselves by only the righteous survive. The righteous. All right. Oh, Matt, did you see the Miguel sent me the Kyle quote? I guess Kyle. I don't know who the villain is, Kyle or Chris Cow in at Wizards, but Kyle's he was on some podcast with, of course, a podcast of color, talking about the OGL, and he said, "I can't wait for the day when all these straight white men are out of the hobby. The sooner the sooner the better," or something. Virtue signal. Yeah. Yeah. How about we don't need all the straight white people out of the hobby? How about we get them out of the management? How about if we take them out of corporate? Wouldn't it be great if Wizards was actually hiring people, that would be good for the product, so that you wouldn't actually be able to tell what a what's that term, the hiring based just on skin color, the kind of virtue signal hiring, what's it called, the none to the hire, what is it, the I can't remember the term, but like when you couldn't tell who was that person at Wizards, because now I'm sure it's pretty obvious who they hired, so that they could point at them and say, look, diversity. Yeah, it's crazy how. And it sounds like even though Kyle was trying to sound reasonable, he's still brainwashed by the all the corporate line. Oh, the first release was just a draft and we never intended. Like he's still pushing that. Oh yeah. No, that's a good. I think it is. Yeah, Matt. I think you're right. Matt said, I don't think people realize how much awful shit went unnoticed before the internet. Yeah, definitely. Like, sexual harassment and power abuse and stuff. It happened, and people like that was like oh, now you're in the adult world kind of feeling. Like you go from, well, you probably got it in school as well. So you were harassed by your professors in school, and being like, oof, wow, I'm glad I'm graduating from here. And then you go to a school where you're getting harassed as well. Yeah, there's a quote. Kyle was on a podcast saying he's so the executive producer of Dungeons and Dragons is saying yeah, I think it's specifically Dungeons and Dragons, saying, "Oh, I can't wait for all the sooner the better. The straight white men get out of this hobby." Just a virtue signal to the two brown guys that were hosting the podcast. Like, must we, must we do this? And they looked a little unfazed. They looked a little bit like, when he said that. They weren't like shaking their heads or nodding their heads or anything. They were just like, oh, okay. That's the statement you want to make, huh? Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know what the podcast was. It probably wouldn't be hard to find it, but yeah. Thank you, Miguel, for always always keeping me up on the nonsense going on. Oh boy. All right, so wow, this is going. I'm not even brainstorming at all. I'm just making tiny pancakes. So it's kind of the same joke, isn't it? Like an out of context object. Oh well. But yeah. Very very depressing. Yes, I wonder. I don't know. So maybe I'll bring that up with Chris on the weekly. I'm not sure the best way to approach that, but I definitely want to, basically just let wizards know. Yeah, that's fine if you want to abandon all the people that built your hobby. Yeah, fine. Maybe I can come up with some sort of rant before tomorrow. That Chris will just roll her eyes at. That's the fun of the show, right? Uh, uh, oh yeah. So I should explain that. So dude, yes, it's in Japan. It's reverse Valentine's Day. So they take the onus off of men because back in the 1950s, I think, 1950s or 60s, maybe I think it was like early 60s, in Japan they tried to introduce Valentine's Day and men failed. They bought like little tiny discount chocolates and everything. So all the candy companies didn't see a big spike in sales. So they didn't have it for a while and then they relaunched it, I think, in the 70s with women being the ones that needed to buy chocolate for men and coworkers and friends and things. So it became kind of reverse Valentine's Day in Japan because women were better shoppers. They would buy the more gourmet deluxe stuff from the candy company. So then the sales of course went crazy, and because they would buy the high price gourmet stuff. So yeah, they relaunched it. The Morozov candy company in Japan relaunched it in the 70s and said, yeah, women buy chocolate for your coworkers and friends so that you have friend chocolate. So based on like the price of the chocolate and maybe how many pieces. And this is dying off. This is like actually already dated information. But you would give friends and coworkers and classmates and things small little like two or three pieces, little boxes of chocolates, and then the person you had actually romantic interest in, you could signal that by giving them something very expensive or some gorgeous European, import deluxe chocolate. But I think with the kind of the strange version of women's kind of empowerment that's happening in Japan, it's where it's only tolerated so much. Um, Women now don't buy chocolate for men. They basically they still spend money, so the holiday still happens, but they buy for themselves. They buy for themselves and their friends. So they wait in these long lines because Japanese people love waiting in long lines. They wait in these long lines at these like pop-up chocolatier places that are, from Tokyo or from Europe, and buy expensive chocolate, but it's usually for themselves, and they have a brand that they hunt for every year, or they do it with their friends. It's an activity that's actually done with friends, and so makes it a little bit more social. But they barely there's barely any chocolate bought for romantic reasons now, unless I guess if you include self-love, I guess that's romantic. Um, but yeah, and so to make up for men getting all the chocolate on Valentine's Day when they reversed the holiday, they came up with White Day. So White Day in March. And again, the candy company screwed up because White Day is a not chocolate day. And of course, women want chocolate. They don't get chocolate. What do they get? Marshmallow. So the initial approach was to encourage like deluxe or kind of fancy marshmallow candies because they're fluffy and pure and cute. So that failed completely because nobody here likes marshmallows at all. So that was kind of rejected, and then it just became a white chocolate. The thing that sold was white chocolate. So you get too sweet, inedible white chocolate for all of your expensive gourmet chocolate purchases if you're a Japanese woman. But I like the idea though that they wanted to create some social way to kind of signal interest in people that's very benign and very not just kind of socially acceptable, because that's a big thing here. People like admitting their feelings. Like there literally is, like, there are Japanese words for the talk you give someone. It's like, can I talk to you for a second? And you tell them you're interested in them. It's very kind of weirdly business like, but you confess your feelings. You might have seen this in some anime and stuff, but you confess your feelings to someone, and they, at that moment, like, it's a weird thing. It's almost like a proposal kind of thing, because at that moment they give you a yes or a no. So that would have been, I mean, that's, if you want to know what creates the serial killers in Japan, it's that. I'm sure all of the yeah, not really interested in you, but both men and women can do it, which is a little bit different from the usual kind of thing. So you confess your feelings, and you get an answer. And okay, someone I know, I'm not going to say who it is, someone I know actually did it multiple times, and it worked. Eventually it worked. So there is a funny, yeah, you can express, stick-to-itness and determination, or stalking. I don't know what you would define that as. Nice. Oh yeah, so Japanese sweets. So before chocolate made it to Japan, sweet beans. So anko, or yeah, anko, which is the sweet bean. So it's kind of like a pinto bean. It's kind of a reddish, tiny pinto bean that they prepare with sugar, and they either smash it into a paste or have it kind of just in some juices. Azuki, or anko. Azuki when the beans are whole. Anko when the beans are turned into a paste. So then mochi, which has been made, forever for New Year's. So mochi wrapped around sweet beans is very early Japanese. It probably is from some Chinese influence or something, but that is like, probably thousands and thousands of year old dessert in Japan, and matches the flavor of kind of, green tea and the roasted, like the brown teas. in Japan. It's suited very well. So it's very slightly sweet. So sometimes you get surprised. Something looks like it's chocolate in Japan, and you'll take a bite and it's just sweet beans, which is the opposite of, it's like taking a drink of a glass you think is water and it's vodka. It's very like, whoa, 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 whoa. It's shockingly bad if you expect a chocolate sweetness, because it's beans with sugar in them. So I don't know if other cultures, I don't know if any like Latin American cultures or anybody have a dessert like that, but they're sweetened beans, and it's a nice mild sweetness that, like I said, matches tea pretty well. But as soon as Meiji period, and that's funny. There's a chocolate company named Meiji. Meiji period, all the foreign influences were just completely embraced. Beef, corn, chocolate. These things had been there before, but they were really like, no, we love this stuff now. And so the production, and so Japanese chocolate. There's some amazing Japanese chocolate. Some Tokyo, kind of famous chocolate places, and it costs a fortune, but it's really amazing. It's like a more subtle, just like their whiskey or their beer. It's a more subtle, nuanced approach to the exact same recipes of, like, European chocolate. So it's interesting, yeah. And there's a lot of other things. A lot of it's like sweetened, like mochi flavored, or there's a warabi mochi, kind of a lighter, almost like a jelly type mochi that they put in different flavored powders, which are either soybean powder with sugar mixed in or whatever. Yeah. And so it's a lot of sweet beans. I'm trying to think of something else. And so, yeah, Japan embraced the parfait, like the giant, ice cream sundaes. Those became like a very Japanese thing. But I think that all happened like when they, stopped wearing kimono and started wearing Western suits and dresses. Well, actually, they never completely, like, women do wear, Western dresses, but formal wear is usually assumed to be kimono still for women. Not as much for men, but yeah, there was a huge move to just, kind of modernize and catch up. That's when Japan built their navy and everything. To westernize the country, and I think that's where a lot of the food influences come in. So Japanese have a really short grain rice that's very sticky. So like a lot of the rice you get at like Chinese restaurants and Indian restaurants, it's dry, like a long grain dry rice, and probably most of the American rice is kind of a dry rice, so it falls apart. Japanese rice sticks together, and if you put a little water in there, and I don't think there's anything else. Just a little water and pound it. So if you've ever seen, I think I played it got it got copyright striked, but there's a tradition of like a wooden. It's like a kind of a mortar and pestle, but kind of larger. So a log that's dug out with a little concave bowl. You put a bunch of cooked rice in there, and dribble a little water, and then someone takes a big wooden mallet and pounds it flat. So you keep crushing this rice, and you flip it and you crush it. So it's two guys. One guy's hitting it with a hammer, and one guy sticks his hand in and turns it. One guy hits it with a hammer. So they do it really fast. It's kind of a performance, like for festivals and like New Year's and stuff. It's kind of a performance. So very quickly. So it looks like looks like the guy's going to get his hand, smashed with a hammer, and so he just keeps flipping. Rolling the rice around so that it is thoroughly smashed. So it's very fine and very gummy and stretches. So they'll grill that over fire, like toast it, I guess, not grill. They'll toast it, or they'll do different things with it, put it in soups and things. But it's just pounded rice. So it's really, really fine, kind of gooey rice. I can't think of it's like very loose taffy, but it's not sweet and sugarless. So if you had just some very stretchy, there's not a really good equivalent. The funny thing though is like people die every year. Older people die every year from that traditional food, because of course it's smashed rice, and if you swallow a piece that that is too big, you can't. It's not going to dissolve. You can't pull it out because it just endlessly stretches. So it's just like swallowing a piece of silly putty. Like you're done. So every year there's a certain number of mochi fatalities. And mochi is also, you've probably heard, if something is soft or squishy, you hear because Japan loves their onomatopoeia, you hear mochi mochi. Something is squishy. You'll hear people call it mochi mochi because it's They love words that sound like the things that they are. Ah, yeah, yeah, fondant. Oh, that's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good appropriate or good comparison. Yeah, yeah. So that's the. Oh, really? Mochi. Oh, yeah, rice flour donut. Oh, interesting. Yeah, Mr. Donut does a ton of Japanese, yeah, rice flour donuts. The uh, Japanese version of Mr. Donut has those donut they call pondering, and it's little balls, like it's a donut formed of like what is it, like six or eight little dough balls, and then like glazed over, but it's mochi flour, so very very stretchy. So, but super light. Yeah, the rice flour makes really light donuts. They're not so oily and everything. Yeah, that's the weird thing. Like Japanese language is so based on sound, like, and it has to be so perfect because everyone is so sensitive to the sound of the language. So your pronunciation needs to be very perfect, and if you mispronounce something, it's completely incomprehensible uh, to Japanese. But I think because they didn't have a written language for so long, like there was only spoken Japanese until kind of Chinese in interaction with the Chinese written language. They're all, people are good singers here. They're good at imitating. They're good mimics. They can imitate impersonators. People's voices and stuff are usually really good in Japan because they have really good ears. So that's why they love music, and the why most kids are forced to take violin or piano is because sound and tone and melody is so native part of just their communication in the language that it has a lot of, there's a lot of emphasis on that here because of that. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Korean rice flour corn dogs. That sounds good. Nice. Yeah, yeah. I wonder where that started. I wonder if they're imitating, because they're giving it kind of a French name, I think. So maybe they're imitating a French style donut, but with like Japanese rice flour. Wow, I think that went pretty fast. So I don't think I'm going to try to put syrup on those pancakes. They're kind of waiting to be syruped, and I'm not going to draw little eyes on all those pancakes, am I? No, I think we'll leave it like that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, Chinese. The little bit that I've heard, people explain the intonations, like the same sound, but it has different intonations. I don't know if it's called intonate, but different. There's different emphasis and accent on syllables. I could not even go anywhere near that. It's just crazy. Yeah, the amount of work it would take to kind of get that in your head. Because I can barely, like, long syllables. Like Japanese is very simple, very few sounds in Japanese. But long and short syllables are kind of a way that the words can be accented, or where they can, how they can put emphasis on certain words or parts of words. And yeah, I don't have that down at all. Oh yeah, there is a square of butter. Yeah, I don't know. That's just that standard pad of butter. Yeah, the little pad of butter on top, melting on top. I think it's visually it looks nice. But yeah, that's right. A pad of butter on top of pancakes is, yeah, that's very American diner looking. I guess they switched to scoops. Sometimes you'll see restaurants have little, like they must have a little like melon baller kind of thing, and do a little ice cream scoop looking thing of butter now. But I think that goes on like right before the stuff is served, so it's like melting, and yeah, looks very visually very nice. But then everything is soaked in butter. Yeah, that's a yeah, dude. That's a I think that might be like, yeah, an American restaurant kind of gimmick. I'm not sure. Um, because so many of those like odd things, pads of butter and things, seem to be part of that. Turn of the century, like early 20th century American industrialization of everything. especially food. All right. Wow. Okay. So we have a Valentine's. Sorry, only a single Valentine's cartoon this year. I didn't get excited about February. Just trying to survive. Butter, butter was late as usual. Nice, or butter late than never. Bet butter late than never. Uh, oh no, yeah. Let me switch over. Yeah, I got some weird warnings about combined chat. Let me see. Bum, bum, bum. I think it's okay. Yeah, it's matching the YouTube, but I don't know. Maybe if there's people in Twitch, I'm sorry, it's not. If it's not going through. Yeah, I couldn't. It was having trouble launching. I think it's okay. Switch over to what Restream. Yeah, yeah. Restream has been so frustrating and unreliable. I've got to remember for tomorrow to turn down the bitrate again to make sure that it's. Oh, cool. Yeah, there's some lag. Restream is definitely having some laggy issues. Yeah, it's very frustrating. All right. Yeah. Yeah, but I've got it set really low. The bitrate here from home is set really low, so that's why I haven't had trouble with OBS. And I think it's a difference between Streamlabs. I think Streamlabs is made more specifically for Twitch. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. So I guess we can do some archive. Let's dive into the archives. Oh, where are we? Wait a minute. I gotta first let me check where we left off, or it's gonna take me forever to find it. Oh, there was a great quote. Yeah, if you guys missed that last week, there was a great quote. A great comment, not quote. A great shitty comment. Oh wait, no, I didn't. Oh, there it is. Wait. Where's the? Oh, there we go. Yeah, somebody wrote, "Where's the punchline, guys?" And another comment was, "Needs to be fixed." Yeah, they didn't get my USB drive joke or thumb drive joke, memory stick, whatever thumb drive joke about bringing your work home with you. So the idea of like not mentally being able to leave work. So the USB drive always brought his work home with him, and they're just like, "There's no punchline here. I hate this." Yeah, that was funny. That was from last time. So we left off June. So June 2008. All right. Oops. And again, thank you, K5, for suggesting going through this. This helps me a lot, kind of get context on this crazy thing. Yeah, seeing the old art style is a little bit disturbing. All right, let's switch over. There we are. So can I make this a little? Yeah, try to fit everything in. There we go. So we're June 3rd, 2008. So the light bulb tried to estimate the flash point of pink bubblegum. So just a hot light bulb waiting to... Yeah, I tried to make it look as lit as possible, but yeah, it's waiting for the bubblegum to ignite. Nice. Yes, Matt. Yeah, that's the little paper liner from the candies that's stuck on the rock. So I don't know if he's impersonating it or it just ended up there. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Let's go. There we go. So June 5th, 2008, it soon became obvious that they were missing pieces from 3 different puzzles. Sky and and grass and that or wood, whatever. They never were meant to be together. Yeah, missing puzzle pieces. Oh, there's a little Photoshop work. June 10th, 2008. A year of careful planning was no match for the open car window at freeway speeds. Brilliant. What a calendar challenge guy like like me needed this January morning in Western Washington, where low temps have been setting record levels all week. All right. Excellent. A positive comment. What do you know? Oh, actually, I can paste with that formatting. It's not bad. Funny. Yeah, it's weird how slowly this cartoon got found online. And that was for this day. Okay. January. All right. Wow, an actual comment. Here we go, June 12th. He wondered how much of his life, let's get this over here, how much of his life would be spent cheeseless and half sprung. Cheeseless and half sprung. Yeah, I don't know. I forget the inspiration for half sprung, but I like the idea of a trap that never quite snaps. But yeah, it's not a very accurate drawing of a mouse trap, but oh well. Yeah, I remember so we had mice in our basement when kind of we lived a little bit countryside, and my mom would put a piece of dog food with peanut butter on it on all the mouse traps. Irresistible. And when you hear them go off, you're just like, ugh. Hopefully it got them, so you don't have to get a shovel. All right, June 17th, 2008. Waiting for pencils to make mistakes was hardly a purposeful life. Look at all of those. That's a very Japanese eraser, that white one. Oh yeah, I think it was smudge tool. Yeah, Matt, the blur. It either was motion blur with some like smudge tool fixes, or it was all smudge tool on that calendar book motion blur. Yeah, sometimes the motion blur tool does weird things, so it's not very useful. All right, June 19th. The mustard's lack of accuracy betrayed his lack of enthusiasm. Enthusiastic mustard. I think the hot dog is upside down. And Sloop says, I have a similar problem in the bathroom. Thank you, Sloop. I guess that does. Yeah, a hot dog and mustard is a little too suggestive. People just can't ignore it. All right. Okay. And so back. Oh, here we go. Yeah, I just did a spray paint cartoon. So 14 years ago, I did the same joke. Everyone could pass for high gloss before the paint dried. Oh, shiny, wet spray paint joke. Yikes. Wow. Yeah, I think there's a few. I think I keep going back to the well for spray paint jokes. Oh, yeah, feeding snakes. Yeah. Feeding snakes and mice. Oh, Matt says that's the name for my new buddy cop film, Cheeseless and Half Sprung. Yeah, it's much better than Tango and Cash. All right. Oh, we've seen this one before. After all of their enthusiasm, their message had lost its meaning. Paid. All right. Oh, Hypercube liked it. Yeah, so I think I'm getting found a little bit more. Yeah, I think it's once they did the redesign. I think they're doing another redesign of this website. Once that initial redesign where they got the comments and advertising kind of figured out, a lot more people started to find stuff. And it's nice because when they got recommended this cartoon and read one, and then they went back and went back into the archive. That's where we get this random messages, and that was always nice. There we go. July 1st, 2008. All of her least favorite things involved toenails. I have no idea. Oh, here we go. I have no idea what this is about. I can't decide if it's happy, sad, or happy. Either way, I'm intrigued. There we go. That's the point. To ride that fine line between happy and sad. Or funny and not funny. Yeah. Maybe that's actually what it is. That delicate line of maybe this isn't comedy after all. All right. Yeah, sad nail clippings. I was in the past year, I've been in multiple, at least one, no, I think one in the past year, online roleplay game, tabletop RPG sessions online where you literally heard a player clipping their nails during, like, audible on the microphone during a session. Really, that's when you decide you need to get the hygiene going. They have, I'm probably in the US too, but in Japan they have nail clippers that have sides on them, so they kind of like contain everything that's cut. So, but still you get the shrapnel. You get things flying all directions. So yeah, cutting your nails where you play Dungeons and Dragons is a little weird. I can understand like an emergency, like if you have like one of those nail breaks that like keeps catching on everything, or like is pulled, to the point where it's all bloody, having to like deal with that. But just sitting waiting for your turn cutting your nails, ugh. Yeah, that's pretty weird. And I don't understand, like, everyone, there's a huge range of like what's acceptable, like what's kind of socially acceptable. And that's one of those things I just don't get, is people that are just randomly cutting their nails. Weird. All right. Where are we? What's going on? Where are we? July 3rd. Oh, this is a very Sharpie drawn tiny cartoon. The misunderstanding may have come from the words extra virgin printed on her label. Haha. Oh, that got 2 pins. All right. Yeah, these are the wonky marker drawings. July 8th. The summer was now officially off to a lousy start. The lemonade had been spilled. Matt's ew, ew, ew. Sorry, I totally missed that. Oh, I did a painting. I'm not sure if this one's, I can't remember if this one's sold or not. I still have a couple of panels at the gallery, but I did a huge painting, like a 4x3 metal or wood panel painting of this Campbell's soup deal. Soup may be good food, but it was lousy company. Yeah, that was a one that, yeah. So this is obviously a commercial, like a Campbell's soup slogan reference. So it may not be very understandable, but for a while Campbell's soup was just saying soup is good food was the their slogan. So it's lousy company. Nobody wants to hang around with soup. Just amused me that soup is not fun to be around because it's just soup. Yeah, this is another phase of a lot of this stuff. I must have been going, like, right around this time, going to a Comic-Con or something, because I remember making a lot of stickers and T-shirts and stuff based on a lot of these cartoons. Once deprived of air, the water balloon was resigned to his wet ground ballistic fate. Wow. I guess we've been here before. Once deprived of air, the water balloon was resigned to his wet ground. Okay. I'm not sure what I was going for there. Something water balloon and military. All right. July 17th. A quart of potato salad was enough to improve even the smallest picnic. Yeah, like the delicatessen, the little cups. I'm a big fan of... I love these non sequitur comments that people just like throw around. I'm a big fan of the famous science fiction writer Sam. Oh, is it a salmonella joke? Salmon Elias. Potato salad. What's the other? Oh, food poisoning. Oh, I said a riff on this food poisoning. Food poisoning tends to liven up gatherings that I've attended. Nice. Nobody like. Oh, I always think of egg salad as the food poisoning. I guess there's eggs in potato salad too. All right. Oh, let me like these from 14 years ago. Now I get what that Salmon Elias was about. There we go. Oh yeah, I've done balloons. I just did a balloon carrying a coffee mug. So yeah, this keeps coming up. This was actually the third stupidest thing he had ever done. Nice. Floating around with a banana. It's always a red balloon. All right, July 24th. He found his reading habits. He found his reading habits strangely voyeuristic. Nice. So the book is reading the pamphlet. All right. I'm trying. This is when I wrote several at a time. July 29th, 2008. He had his doubts about the level of hazard involved. A tiny crack. Yes, Harlan. Yes, Harlan Ellison. Salmon Ellison. All right. July 31st. Oh, nice. All right. Matt's gonna be a many petty addict. Just a clear coat though, Matt. Just go with the clear coat. Nice. They had become entangled in a devious surveillance plot. All right. Styrofoam cups and string. So August, we'll finish through August and call it August 5th. They sat in the lane, questioning the need for all the ball-on-pin violence. Okay. That should be a little bit bigger, shouldn't it? Because when it gets scaled down, it looks really tiny. Bowling pins should be large and clumsy looking. All right, August 7th. Movies on demand had now become far too demanding. Oh, the poor popcorn. All right, August 12th. Their dislike for fish oil was hardly something on which to base a friendship. Yeah, a tuna can and a sardine can. I've based relationships on less. Nice. 14 years ago, liking it. Nice. Hatred of fish oil. Or dislike. Sorry, dislike of fish oil. All right, August 14th. The only thing they shared were chalk dust and some difficult long division. Only things they shared. Chalk dust and long division. If you opt in for Match.com 6-month package, be sure to read the fine print. They will give you an additional 6 months free if you didn't find your match. But you have to email, actively search on your own. Thank you, Sloop. That's very good. Yeah, there's some odd non sequiturs in there. Oh, wow. So 14 years ago is 2009. So yeah, Match.com is going strong. Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of glad that, there's sliding into people's DMs and things now so that these dating, well, no, but there's, never mind. There's Tinder. And there's, the dating apps are worse than ever. I guess this is websites. So I'm thinking websites are dead, but apps are not. Yeah, that's even more depressing. All right, August 19th. The desire to be labeled distracted him from his obsolescence. A desire to be labeled. Yeah, so this is something that anybody, under 20 something, maybe 30 will not recognize as labels for VHS tapes. That little sheet of labels that they give you, one for the box, one for the sometimes for the box, right? For the box, for the spine, and then for the the flat where you see the reels, a little window where you see the reels. Labeling your cassettes, your video cassettes. The desire to be labeled. That's right. So Red Letter Media is all obsessed with now their black spine. They have just like blank VHSs without a label on the spine. So they're keeping it alive. The kids will know all about unlabeled VHS. All right. Oh, look at this crazy door handle. August 21st. Oh, dude. Oh, no, dude is just realizing it. Nice. Yes, that's true. That's true. Everyone, yeah. After Korean Cosmetics, I think, made it to the U.S., I think men wearing foundation and lip liner is not going to be far away. Nice. Yeah, right. Yeah, dating apps. Yeah, dating apps aren't apps anymore, are they? They're just hookup apps, and people haven't realized that yet. Completely. Or maybe they have. I mean, the fact that, Tinder, not to stereotype, but the fact that Tinder was based on Grindr lets you know that they weren't intending to be matchmakers to any extent. Keyless entry left her feeling that much less involved in the car door opening process. Yeah, that's right. So I think it's totally gone now, but there was that like half step between keyless entry but you still had a physical key. So you could get in with a fob, but you could also open the door. There was still a keyhole on the door and a key in the ignition, even though you could start it keylessly. All right. And August 26th. The dustpan could have enjoyed his work, if not for the broom shoving disgusting crap in his face. Oh, wow, Go Comics let me say crap. Yeah, one time, I forget, maybe it was the F word, though. Maybe it was fuck, but one time Go Comics made me censor, and instead of like editing it, I just put a black bar over it. I thought that looked funny. But I forget what it was a tsunami joke, ha ha ha. But it was it was some profanity that they made me censor. But that was the only time. That only happened once. But crap, I guess, is okay. The broom shoving disgusting crap in his face. All right. Oh, okay, yeah. So new cars still do both. Yeah, I thought cars were already to the point where they are all magically keyless. But yeah, I guess you still have to have that, because if things go wrong or the battery dies in your fob or whatever, it's like, okay, now your fob and your car are both completely useless. Nice. All right, August 28th. The bizarre accident had combined sugar and salt, creating a new super seasoning. I wonder what it would taste like. Yeah, I love those cartoons that are based on like a superhero origin or whatever. Like try to say something stupid like that. A new super seasoning. Sugar and salt. All right, and I think this will be the first one for September. There we go. So he now knew his whole life would be bunt cake. He realized that your shape will never let you be anything but a bunt cake pan. Yes, because bunt cake is a funny word, a funny phrase. All right. So we'll pick up with September when we meet again. All right. Oh, I know. Yeah, and I think that's a thing now, because there's so many chips and little controllers and computers in cars. You could easily, like, I could see some tech, some guy in a garage not knowing what he's doing and totally bricking at least the diagnostics in cars now. So your car's completely useless, like some components of it. Yeah, that's going to be really depressing. I wonder how bad Teslas are. Like, I wonder if people have had software crashes and things with Teslas that kind of make them a little a little weird. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, speaking of Tesla, Honda just announced in Japan. Maybe this is international news, but Honda announced in Japan that it's going to slowly ramp up production of hydrogen cell cars. So that's going to be their green technology they're going toward. I think by 2030, they're going to be producing like 60,000 a year. They're going to start off like just a couple thousand a year as they improve the technology. And the price is probably going to be insane. And plus, the resources for refueling aren't going to be there yet. But if you enjoyed the Hindenburg, imagine the spectacular freeway crashes with several hydrogen cell cars involved. Oh man, yeah. So it's gonna be the humanity on Japanese highways if they don't make those hydrogen fuel tanks like impenetrable. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, especially I guess that'll be the actual danger won't be when everything's hydrogen fuel cells. It'll be when there are still combustion and hydrogen combined, because a combustion engine will catch on fire easily and then a hydrogen tank will explode. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, that's a good salt cheating on pepper with sugar intermingled. But yeah, so by 2030 they're going to ramp. They said they're going to ramp up to 60,000, and they're going to offer the technology to other companies, and that's their big push. So instead of going all electric car using batteries, I think they've realized that batteries technology is just so limited. It's not efficient enough, and it may never be. But hydrogen has no emissions. Like the emissions are literally water for hydrogen fuel cells, as far as I understand it. So it's a good choice if they can make it safe. And yeah, Japan loves to play dangerous with their nuclear power plants on the coastline and all that good stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, and Honda's pretty much the leading car maker in Japan. So that will that'll be pretty crazy. Oh, hey, so before I go back to the writing thing, let me show Matt something, and I'll share this with everybody, but this is kind of more specifically for Matt. Boom. Oh, let me mute this. So where is show and tell? I think it's this window. So here's how it's going, progress. Yeah, if you die in a hydrogen fire, you better be on Led Zeppelin in the 20s. Yes. That would be awesome. You could be a famous in a famous auto accident. Okay, let me see if this works. Boom. Okay, so here we are with a little bit of the Blade Runner, but I want to show Matt what I did with the. Come on. What I did with the map. So here we go. Boom. So I did everyone's position. Is this going to work? Is this annoying? Or is this like, yeah. So I put all the characters' positions on the Memory Lab map, because we're describing what's happening, but I don't think you get quite the sense of where everything is. But yeah, this is how it ended up. And this might work for Dragonbane as well. Dragonbane. And Terry's been shot. So there we go. That's how this little end section of the playthrough is gonna go. And I did little radio voices for Hughes and Lopez, radio effects on the voices. So we'll see how that goes. But that's something for Matt there. A little preview of how Blade Runner is actually going. But yeah, it got a little crammed because I needed to make the tokens big enough to be visible, so it gets a little crammed once combat starts, but at least you get some idea of where everything is. So yeah, that should work. Showdown at the Lilith Memory Lab. Nice. Right. Yeah, that was the closest closest to anything tactical, so cool. Yep, so we'll see. The rest of it is talking heads, so it should be satisfying. Let's go back to the drawing. So yeah, so that'll be done soon. Hopefully, tonight or tomorrow night. I'll send you a link that'll be up on Patreon, and I'll send you a link to that. And let me know. I'm still really. I did a few passes on the editing because I wasn't happy with I don't know. I think there's too much mechanics still. I think I left too much mechanics in the playthrough. So I don't know if that's distracting or not because people are enjoying the story. But Will has such amazing moments in this final episode that I wanted to, and it all got recorded too. Yay, we didn't lose any of it. I wanted to make sure that that was all, yeah, represented well. But I think there's a lot, especially because this is our biggest combat. There's too much mechanics talk in there. So we'll see. But I need your opinion, Matt. All right. Okay, so we've got Valentine's End. So short stack. I think I've made some short stack jokes before, but I like the phrase short stack. Let's see. So a plate of, yeah. So the plate of pancake, the stack of pancakes should be more. Should I do the pat of butter? Oh man, now I'm all. I think it's dudes got me thinking there should be a pat of butter on top of there to make it a true stack. Okay, let me see if I can, because I can just do it all as one piece. See, I'm procrastinating from writing. Let's see if I can get the perspective somewhat understandable. All right, thicker on that side. Oh yeah, and it should be kind of big to make the pancake scale look a little. There we go. Oh, I had to do it. Maybe scale it up just a little bit to make them look even smaller. All right, the pat of melting butter. A must for any depiction of American pancakes. There we go. Maybe a little white line. There we go. Okay. I just felt guilty. It doesn't really look like pancakes. Yeah, and plus that helps with the scale a little bit too, because that pat of butter would, everyone kind of knows how small that is, so it makes the pancakes look even smaller, I hope. Ah, thanks. Yeah, sorry, Matt. Yeah, it has been a while. It's been a while. Remember the optimistic weekly schedule, release schedule I had for that? It was nice though. When I was editing, like how surprising, how surprising things evolved. I'm curious how people that have been following it will receive it because it wraps up pretty fast. All right. Okay, so writing. Is that all on there? There we go. So a short stack. Breakfast was ruined. Was interrupted. Was complicated. Complicated by a surprisingly short stack. It's not really. They were assured. Oh, oh, nice. They were. Yeah, a waffle thing would be good. Yeah, that's true. That would be a good contrast. There were supposed to be waffles. I hope those read enough like pancakes that they don't look like tiny waffles. Yeah, they were told there would be waffles, or yeah, some week. Yeah, I like that waffle Wednesday. Uh, I like the phrase those. It's gonna. I'm gonna have trouble getting away from the phrase surprisingly short stack. That's pretty good. Yeah, they weren't waffles. Anything but waffles. Oh, yeah, I haven't had, I think it was like a hotel, like breakfast, the last time I had waffles. You know how they have some places have the waffle iron out. It's an insane thing, though, because I can imagine kids at a breakfast buffet, like, burning the hell out of themselves, or like getting clipped by the waffle iron coming down. But I think it was the last time I had a waffle is a hotel breakfast buffet. And I can't even tell you how many years ago that was. Yeah, they have the most common waffle thing here are the little waffle. They're about that big, and they're little waffle. The mannequin, that fountain, the little boy pissing in the fountain. I think it's France. I don't know where that is. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's like Northern Europe. But there's a chain of waffle sweets shops. Basically, it's like a donut shop, but it's just a donut sized little round waffle, and they have different flavorings and stuff. But they're never, they make them there, but they're never warm, which is weird. But yeah, those are good. Oh yeah, hotel eggs in the tureen. Oh yeah, that sulfury smell. That's another weird thing. Eggs are really different between America and Japan. Japanese egg yolks are almost dark orange. It must be like the breed of chicken or whatever, or they less commercialized, industrialized chicken farming in Japan. But the eggs are really, really dark orange, sometimes like almost towards red. And they taste very different. And then also Japan, like for mayonnaise and stuff, uses a lot more egg yolk than egg white. And then they put like soy sauce in it, so it's really rich and dark, much darker yellow. Yeah, the egg yolks in the U.S. sometimes at diners and stuff are just like a fluorescent yellow. They're really bright yellow. But the eggs get pretty dark here, and they're smaller. I don't think maybe that has to do with how they bred to get those jumbo grade A eggs in the U.S. Only chickens capable of pushing those out have much lighter yolks. But yeah, very different. Yeah, yeah, pancakes shaped into waffles. Yeah, yeah, nice. Yeah, oh, yeah, always runny. Yeah, and just yeah, scooping out scrambled eggs from a tureen. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. After it was the first time I had like a heavy American breakfast for a few years after coming to Japan, and I went back to the U.S. and oh, sorry, back to the U.S. and just about had a gallbladder attack from the amount of like grease and sugar I was trying to process, because I used like snap right back into it. That's the funny thing is, even though you have a different diet, living in like a different culture, as soon as you go back to America, you go right back into eating horribly. So I just had a giant plate of bacon and all kinds of nonsense that I hadn't eaten in a long time, and yeah, it hit hard. All right. Complicated by surprisingly short stack. Surprisingly short stack I can't get away from. I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere else but that. And Matt saying, when we had our little egg shortage here, oh, I bought a $9 dozen, and 10 of the 12 had dark orange red double yolks. So weird. Oh, I wonder if they sourced them from Asia. I wonder if they're from like Thai, or they sourced them from uh, you know, non-factory, because it was like bird flu, right? It was like they had to cull chicken farms because of some avian flu or bird flu. So yeah, yeah, right, dude. Yeah, it's exactly like breaking a diet. I almost killed myself at a breakfast buffet. Wow, that's insane though. 9 dozen. Yeah, double. Yeah, it's funny. Double yolks. Yeah, so it might have been like an Asian, just a different breed of chicken egg, but that sounds much more Asian. The dark orange yolks, dark orange double yolks. I wonder if they can breed or they can select for double yolks. because there was a diner, there's a chain, I think it's a chain of diners in Chicago that always said all our eggs are double yolked, but I think they just used 2 eggs for every 1 egg you ordered. That was my guess, but yeah, maybe they did have there was a radioactive chicken farm nearby. All right. Okay, so what are we doing for this? So a rock pretending to be chocolate, disrupting the Valentine's rock a throne rock. Let's see. What is the what's going on here? Yeah, so all the little liner papers are gone. So the chocolate's done. There's one little bonbon left hanging around outside, but chocolate's gone, and there is a rock. So I was thinking either it was thrown in or it's trying to pose as as something for Valentine's. A rock made a. Oh, there's not eyes on this little guy. I should probably, if all the wrappers have eyes, then why doesn't he? There we go. So Valentine. I shouldn't be craving chocolate at 1:20 a.m. Sorry, dude. Yeah, that smell. That's the best thing. Is the like a nice box of like assorted chocolates, like a what was it? The sampler, the somebody sampler, the yellow box, the Whitman samplers. That's the best smell. And even like chocolate shops, like that smell of just going into a chocolate shop and that huge variety of chocolate smells. That's the best. All right. So a Valentine. So like a chunk of coal in a stocking kind of joke, or an aftermath. Or make a an engagement ring joke. That wasn't the kind of rock. He wasn't the kind of rock that was expected on Valentine's. As that slang might be too difficult to equate. But a rock, as in like a solitaire engagement ring, diamond solitaire ring. That's the only thing I've got so far. So let's put that down. He wasn't the rock. She was. Oh, but I'm referencing the humans. Maybe I shouldn't do that. That was expected. Vernon and Valentine's Day. He wasn't the rock that was expected, or that was hoped for. He better be frowning then, right? He wasn't the rock they deserved. He's got a little chin. All right, he wasn't the rock that they were expecting. They were expecting. Yeah, maybe that sounds better. And he's trying to make it look better by decorating himself with the chocolate liner wrapper things. There's got to be a name for those. Most remember chocolate raisins. Nice. Yeah, Raisinets are not bad. Like real chocolate covered raisins, like, more chocolate shop ones are nicer, because I guess that's the charm of Raisinets and all of those candies, those movie theater candies. The chocolate is so waxy. It has a very weird artificial I wish I had Chat GPT to ask this question to. Oh no. Oh no. What are they called? Glycine paper candy cups. Glycine candy cups. Ferrero Rocher paper cups. Yeah, paper cups, I guess. Candy paper cups. Those little corrugated, whatever that's called. Little paper cups. Yeah, weird. Cyber trade. Oh, that's. Oh, I see. I see. Yeah, yeah. Glycine. So I guess that's like baking paper or whatever that's called. Yeah, glycine paper candy cups is what most of the online shops are calling them. Glycine finished. Oh, that might be the corrugation of the shape of the finishing. Weird. So let's see what glycine paper candy cups. Isn't it fun when I Google off off camera? Weird. Yeah, it's just a bunch of online stores. Glycine is a smooth, glossy paper that is transparent. Oh, no, so that's not those brown paper things. That's like, they use those a lot in obento, the kids' obento in Japan, the little colorful paper, kind of transparent paper. It's kind of like, what am I thinking of? Yeah, like just like plastic wrap kind of things. But yeah, I guess that brown paper. So that's not actually the correct term. That's something else. Whatever those brown paper candy cups are. That's all they call them. Candy cups. But without them, could you imagine how stuck together? And I guess that's true because then it makes it those little cups. That's why they do it with the Japanese obento too. You can kind of have a custom. Everything can be a different configuration. If you had like a divided, some obento boxes have literally divided compartments, but then you can only put so much of a certain thing in there. But when it's those cups, it can be of any size, so it's a little more flexible. Vocational exchange program gone wrong. That's a good one. Yes. He tried to find another job. Nice. Yeah, thick wax paper, basically. Yeah, yeah, they are kind of like like a wax paper kind of thing. Yeah, and I guess they have that fold to them so they don't stick, so that they stick less to the whatever's inside them. Yeah, so yeah, glycine is the transparent ones, the bright colored transparent ones, the more plasticky ones. Huh. Yeah, they're just paper. Weird. Yeah, and I guess they're always dark brown, so the look of the chocolate kind of is accentuated. It pops out. They're white. I guess there's a lot of white ones too. All right. Well, that was exciting. Oh, that's right. And they even make in Japan. They even make silicone versions so that they're washable and reusable. Because otherwise you just throw them away every lunchtime. But yeah, there's little reusable versions of them as well. Nice. All right. Nice. Oh, something happened just recently. That now in this shared chat, the YouTube emojis work. Because I used to just get like commands. They would just say whatever the scripting or command little tag is for those, but now they're actually showing up. That's weird. So Restream finally did something to upgrade the experience. So he wasn't the rock they were expecting this Valentine's Day. The Rock. Welcome to the Rock. All right. Yeah, I had somebody say, or some of one of those YouTube movie critics were talking about how The Rock is actually a James Bond film. It's actually the Sean Connery's last James Bond film. You can argue anything, can't you, on the internet? Oh, this was a good video that I saw, and it contradicts like what maybe the intention of the book, but Fight Club. So somebody had this alternative analysis of Fight Club, and so the interpretation, and there's a lot supporting this. Like he did a really good job of what can support this, the facts and kind of details in the film that supported this. But Fight Club is not about like this whatever this like weird expression of masculinity, or this weird like hyper toxic masculinity, or this whatever interpretations other people have had. It's just the main character literally having a personality split once they were diagnosed with testicular cancer. So the Edward Norton character, maybe before the beginning of the movie, is diagnosed with testicular cancer, and they keep referencing cancer through the whole movie. And there's kind of that, like the scene where the Project Midnight is kind of turning on him. They were going to castrate him, and there's a bunch of references to that kind of thing. So it's him like splitting into this hyper masculine, and then also Marla. He's also, one of his personalities is also Marla. That him trying to deal with the trauma of being diagnosed and having to have surgery, and what that's going to mean and where he's going to end up. So Bob Marla, Tyler Durden, and his name, the character's name is Tyler Durden. This guy decided, but he doesn't. He's kind of split. He's going to lose himself. He feels like he's going to lose himself. So the name of the hyper masculinized character was him. It's a fun interpretation. It's really, and he does a good job of supporting it. So the house on Paper Street doesn't exist. It's his safe place. There's so many things. Like most of the movie is actually just happening in his mind, because they introduced that idea of the imagined plane crash at the beginning. So he is just dealing with so maybe flying home from some insurance job. So that happened, but he on the plane like basically has a breakdown because he was ignoring the fact that he was just diagnosed with cancer, and had to have this. What does that mean? Have to have the surgery? Have to have whatever, the chemotherapy or whatever. So that's the cause for the whole split. And it's fun. It's fun how he tries to explain all of that. Oh, the one with the kid from Home Alone growing up to be Jigsaw. That's great. Yeah, that's a great theory. Yeah, yeah. Nice. About The Rock. Oh, yeah, nice. And how it was originally a Bond film. Oh, yeah, people have a lot of people do have a lot of time on their hands. Yeah, I like the other one that was really funny. I don't think it works perfectly well, but the really funny one was the villain in The Shining, in Kubrick's version of The Shining. Actually, Wendy is the evil person in The Shining, and we just don't see every. It happens off camera, every incident of Wendy doing something terrible to Jack. And I forget what the name of the theory was, but explaining that because some of the like she just basically, her abuse has just made Jack like completely catatonic, and she everything she does has made him insane, and so that's why he has the breakdown. But that one, I don't think it works as well with the details of the film, but it's pretty funny. Like with the examples that they give, it's really funny how it's like, oh yeah, right before the scene started, she could have been, saying something pretty terrible that like totally freaked him out. It's just funny to empower, because the Wendy character is so, and even the actress had to go through such hell to give that performance. The Wendy character comes across as so just mentally abused and emotionally just broken. It's funny that to empower her and say, oh no, she's the one actually the whole time that was in control. Nice. And I forgot a shadow on the rock. All right. Oops. Ah. Oh, cool. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, the perspective of the devil. Yeah, Kubrick messed Shelley Duvall up pretty bad. Yeah, and that was back in the day. Well, Kubrick was crazy abusive. Like I watched a bunch of interviews and commentaries and stuff. For like Full Metal Jacket and a lot of Kubrick's movies, and he would. It was, and I think it comes from that back in the day, a lot of like the classic. Hollywood directors like were just allowed to do whatever on set and torture people however they wanted, like literally not tell them they were putting them in danger. And like even the chestburster scene on in the first Alien movie wasn't explained to the cast so they could get more authentic reactions to the blood and everything. So yeah, directors like that used to be totally acceptable, is just torture these actors to get them to do whatever you wanted them to do for the to serve the performance in the film. That was, yeah, much better. Oh yeah, and there we go. We came full circle. Yeah, Matt, that's true. Good example of pre-internet bad behavior. Yeah, that's really true. Yeah, and the whole it's interesting too. There was I was thinking about this. There was something that came up, some story or something I was watching, but it reminded me of this scene in White Lotus where there's the three generations of the Italian family, Italian American family that are going back to, try to find their roots in Italy. When they were discussing infidelity, and the father is telling the grandfather, oh, you think you were so clever and you hid your affairs. We all knew, and we all saw what it did to to my mother. You weren't so, your generation wasn't so clever. You weren't so sophisticated in how you handled it, because the grandfather was criticizing his son, the father, for obviously seeing prostitutes and stuff when they were in Italy. And yeah, I think that is exactly the point, like Matt is talking about, that yeah, it's all revealed now. And the fact is that, like, people got away with it more in the past, of course, before social media and smartphones and everything, but also because everyone knew the bad things that were happening, but they didn't want the person, like, they knew about child abuse, they knew about domestic violence, they knew about affairs, infidelity, they knew about all this stuff, but they didn't want to be the homewrecker. They didn't want to be the person that was going to destroy this family by reporting it to the police or whatever. They didn't think it was like um, their role, or they weren't in the position to actually do that. But it's changed now that people think they do have the ability to judge other people and fix their lives and make them live the way they want to live. But I think, yeah, back in the day, like, my grandparents' generation, I would say, things were just kept quiet. Abuse happened. People just tolerated it because the alternative was, single, and being a single mother back then was a lot more difficult before divorce laws kind of put everything in the wife's favor. But there was a lot more damage that was done. And are you really sure you want to do that? Is that your place to wreck this family and tell their secrets, and everything? Hmm. Each generation gets smarter, but TikTok generation is going to waste. Yes, dude, I think that's true. Yeah, Matt's saying the people close to the bad person were the ones who knew, and they had an immense pressure not to say anything. Yeah, yeah, I think that's very true. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's changing very much. I don't know. I think it's a good thing to help the victims of, these sorts of workplace harassment, domestic problems, and things. I think that helps protect a lot of people and get a lot of people out of bad situations. But just like everything, there's this huge overreach now, and everyone thinks now that it's more acceptable to call out people's bad behavior. You can call out people's, like, tiny, microaggressions. You can call out people's tiniest little infractions, and yeah, you're not living perfectly, and I am very disappointed, and I need to let everybody know how in these tiny small ways you're a terrible person. Because I myself am righteous. Yeah, yeah. But that's the thing too. I think the big problem socially with call out culture or whatever, whatever, like, being able to freely say what people are doing wrong or judging people, is that a lot of people use that. Like the people that are most that are making the most accusations and are the most passionate and angry about other people's behavior are usually the ones that are trying to direct the attention away from themselves and the terrible things that they're doing. So always the people that overstate the you know I can't think of a good kind of benign example, but criticizing someone's behavior just because what they're doing is so much worse. And yeah, so it's a weird thing. It's a really weird human dynamic. We're having to deal with stuff that it was it makes things a lot weirder. Oh yeah, yeah, become the black sheep of a family. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, kind of be yeah, interesting. Yeah, dude, that's a good point. Yeah, it's funny. I'm not sure. It's not better. It's just different. I think in some ways because of the overreach. Because of now, it's just making everyone. So yeah, like example, probably terrible example, but example, like being more able to point out racism and prejudice and how it's operating in certain, how laws are made or how houses are built or whatever. Being able to point it out in small ways is good, is a good development. But all that does is bring the real racism and the real dangerous stuff underground. It's like going to be more completely hidden, because when you see it manifesting in how cities zone neighborhoods and stuff, when you see that kind of bizarre bizarre kind of what they call systematic racism now, the when that gets called out, then that just means there's going to be a deeper, more hidden, more sinister version of things, because those people that were able to do that are not going to stop just because you're calling them out. They're just going to get much better at hiding it. And that might be true with domestic violence and everything, is that now that people know they can be called out on it, they're going to just be better, just be more clever about how they do it. I don't know. That's in like when a game designer tried to cancel Watch It Played's Rodney because he retweeted a meme disparaging people who don't put shopping carts back. Seriously? Seriously? That's not true. That is not true, Matt. You just made that up. That's a headline from that sounds like a news story from The Onion or from some parody news site. That is insane. You are disparaging the disabled. You're attacking the disabled for not returning their shopping carts. Holy shit. Oh my God. That's so amazing. Yeah. Well, game designers are the next motherfuckers we're going to have to deal with too, as far as like realizing how messed up some of them are. There's some nasty stuff that goes on, just like paying attention to a little bit of board game Twitter and stuff. There's people that a little bit too much judgment and a little bit too much holier than thou crap with board game designers. I mean, yeah, you guys weren't anointed anointed by God to do what you're doing. Yeah. Wow, that's really depressing. Yeah. Yikes. That's too funny. I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that before. Sorry. I love when if you retweet something that is like, you have now aligned yourself with whatever the humor is, with whatever the bad, if it's a bad joke done in bad taste, or if it's something that is not, particularly well thought out, or just kind of, cringy and careless and just supposed to be offensive. You have aligned yourself with that. This is the kind of person you are because you have retweeted. That's insane. So Twitter should now have this like confirmation where you have to like prick your finger and get, submit a drop of blood as proof, that you agree with this, and say, yes, I stand behind, I'm completely committed to the humor, the point of view, the politics involved in this silly little joke, even if like most of the time people don't even know like what the full repercussions, the full meaning, or how this in the internet world, how these like this kind of joke aligns with some kind of fascist ideology. Just like ha ha ha, retweet. Oh no, that's so funny. Oh wow. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, but I mean, it's that weird virtue signaling thing. It's interesting. And if Chris is watching, maybe we could talk about this. But that was an interesting thing. I brought up virtue signaling one time on the weekly, like years ago, and I don't think Chris understands that there is a negative connotation to virtue signaling. So I only see it as negative because I don't think anyone uh, signaling their virtue, telling you how good they are, is ever a good thing. If you do good deeds, you do them anonymously, you do them without recognition, you do them without notice. That's how good works. In my weird world, in my weird thinking. So I see virtue signaling as a negative thing, and I think Chris sees virtue signaling as never having a negative connotation. So that was a very interesting. That came up one time, and I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Or maybe the negative connotation of virtue signaling is an alt-right or whatever interpretation. Like that might be how some people see it. But yeah, you shouldn't proclaim yourself good or better, holier than thou. I don't know. Wow. Yeah, right, right. Yeah, it gets yeah, these small little fights over, yeah, very interesting kind of, yeah, minuscule things and tiny points. Yeah, it's funny. Oh, Matt and I are just talking about yeah, crazy Twitter, board game Twitter. Yeah, how people overreact. Yeah, it's funny. But I think we're also, yeah, finding out that comic book artists and animators and board game designers are not some special elite class. These aren't people that have have been vetted in any way. That their beliefs are. Well, I think the problem is that a lot of people see it, and now I think corporate America sees virtue signaling as it's also a way to kind of step up in a employability kind of yeah, pick me kind of sense for employment and contract work and whatever. If you have shown publicly you're aligned, to certain beliefs, then that makes you a better choice. And I think a lot of people really believe that it's not the quality of the work, it's the character of the creator that must be understood and analyzed. Uh, well, that's too bad, dude. You've got a sick niece. That's no good. I hope it's just a simple thing. I hope it's just a cold or flu or something. A lot of people I'm noticing around me, no more COVID, but a lot of people are getting pretty nasty flu this year. I was very surprised. A lot of people with kids in daycare and stuff are bringing home some nasty stuff. Yeah, it's. I guess people have said too, with all of our masking and sterilizing, sanitizing and stuff, we're weakening our immune systems to like the regular stuff that we were all kind of dealing with before. So there might be a little bit of that once we're kind of past, once COVID enters the the annual review of influenzas type diseases, that we're gonna have to get a little bit stronger again. Uh, mm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. Yeah, manga's an interesting example. Japan does have like they're trying to have because there was just an aide to the prime minister that got in trouble for publicly. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was publicly, but it might have been privately, and then was reported. He was just saying he's uncomfortable with gay couples. He wouldn't want a gay couple as a neighbor, and he had to, I think he lost his job. He had to step down, and then the prime minister apologized for that. So Japan is trying to, kind of pay attention, but for the most part, they're still like, manga and things are very, I don't know, say, I don't know if there's a better word, but politically incorrect. They're just aligned with more old-fashioned values. Uh, oh yeah, the AIDS ribbon episode. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's funny. That's been around forever. It's been around since those ribbons. Yeah, the charity ribbons. Yeah, it's yeah, been around forever. And it even goes back to what the Starbelly Sneetches, the stars upon thars. Oh, but Dr. Seuss is canceled because of his Asian caricatures, his depiction of Asians. Uh, it's amazing. Yeah, and that's the thing that I keep. I guess living in Asia, the thing that keeps coming back to me is, yeah, white people don't need to defend Asians. Asians are fine, and they're very powerful, and they understand, when they're being made fun of, and they have their own tolerances. But again, then Asian Americans are using the currency of uh, you know being able to say that they that they're insulted or whatever to achieve things and to silence people and whatever. So it's endless. It's endless. But Asia don't care what you say about nothing. They don't. India, South Asia, East Asia, they don't even. They're not worried about you and your little prejudices and insults. It means nothing. And we don't have that context. I mean, everything is, in context of American thinking. He wasn't the rock they were expecting this Valentine's Day. On this Valentine's Day? Let's just keep it short. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm still in the drawing part. And breakfast was complicated by a surprisingly short stack. It's actually a tall stack of short stack. All right. Okay, I don't know. This is another one that I think we're going to get some head scratches on. Okay. So everything is spelled correctly, but is it funny? Surprisingly short stack. All right. Yeah. It's funny too. Yeah, you can go around and around with so many of these things that America is very obsessed about. It's funny, and I think we're seeing that weird social class where the over privileged, over moneyed, over successful Americans need to assuage the guilt of their having way too much and being way too decadent by being charitable and by contributing to the lesser. Well, there's some really funny words funny phrases I can't think of. Lesser fortunate, the people that haven't been as successful and don't have as much as they do. So that giving back, and that's just to, try to soften and lessen their guilt about it. But it's become this like main, like people that aren't, people that aren't overprivileged and doing well are now accused of privilege. Just because they, in just in much smaller ways. But it's all come from that weird class of people. Like we've got people like Bill Gates are telling us how we should be thinking politically and things, and they're just people that have just ravaged not ravished ravaged the world and destroyed people's lives and everyone's sitting behind Windows PCs at their shitty jobs. They've done terrible things to the world, and they're just trying to make themselves feel better. And it's become this like disease now. Weird. What are some of the stereotypes the Japanese use to describe non-Asians? Batakusai. Batakusai is a smells butter stink of butter. So Western people eat a lot more butter than Japanese people, and you can smell it from their sweat, like their sweat or the body oil or your hair or whatever. So they're called butter stink. So, and I never thought. I always thought, oh, that's so bad. How can that be true? But there was some sweaty white people in the Japanese summer that I was on a tram with, and I smelled the butter stink. Yeah, because it had been a long enough time. Maybe it wasn't one of those super familiar smells anymore, and I smelled a sweaty family get on the tram. Like, whoa, that's it. There it is. The butter stink of non-Japanese. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, dude is a straight. Yeah, he is insane. I mean, so he must have great PR or whatever, because they've only talked about how brilliant he is when he has no education at all. He's so brilliant. But he has like 10 children. He's like just impregnating the women working in his companies. That's psychotic. Like right there is the sociopath. Yeah. Butter. Yeah, but butter stink is a common, and that goes way back. I think that goes back a couple hundred years to Europeans visiting Japan. They smell different because Japan is a very hot, humid place in the summer, so everyone sweats, and a sweaty Western European person smells different from an Asian person, and they sweat a lot more. Asian people don't. I mean, some do. There's a spectrum, like a huge range of people, but for the most part, a lot of Asian people don't sweat heavily or easily, and it may just be because they, are grown up in the environment. They're, hereditarily, they're from people that have lived in, these kind of tropical, whatever it's called, whatever the hot, humid summers are here. But yeah, so they sweat much less, and Western people here sweat a lot, and yeah, it's much more noticeable. What's another? And it's just like the funny thing is that I noticed in like kanji and stuff is I think England. The kanji they use to talk about England being white is rice. So they're white like rice. And a negative stereotype for black people, for dark-skinned people, is dojin. So dojin means like people from dirt, or dirt people, like made of earth. So that's a negative slang for anyone darker skin. And Japan has a big prejudice, even within Japanese, of people with darker skin. A lot of, farmers and workers, they get very tanned. And even like the junior high school kids and stuff that have sports clubs that are outside in the sun, they get really, really dark skinned. And their hair doesn't lighten, so their hair's black and their skin gets very dark. So Japanese kids a lot of time can look very dark. But there's a big prejudice. Like literally, I think I've heard every Japanese girl that I know, like not more recently. It's an older phenomenon, but she said she couldn't date or couldn't easily get a boyfriend because she was too dark complected, and dark complected in this like very narrow range. I mean, not pale, and that's undesirable. So skin color, and because if you see on the Japanese magazines, of course, the classic like geisha makeup and stuff, a contrast between lighter skin and black hair is ideal. But most Japanese don't have light skin and black hair. They have, middle, like golden, tinged skin and brown hair. So that's what most people actually look like: dark brown hair and brown eyes. So black eyes, black hair, light as possible skin is like this beauty ideal. So that's how a lot of women are judged. For men, it doesn't matter. Like men's skin color doesn't matter. And actually, like darker skinned men look more virile in some ways, or more athletic or whatever. To I think some Japanese women, but Japanese women are judged more on skin color. And it's funny because the trends, like in the 80s, all of the idols wanted to look like Hawaii, like they had some vacation in, Okinawa or Hawaii. So they all had suntan. So that was very natural, like a light lip color, light lipstick and suntan, and very natural look. But then that became less and less popular, and that more like weird Asian ideal became more necessary. Nice. Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah, that's the only ones I can think of. And of course, like the big nose, like if you want to dress like a foreigner, if they like have like the little gimmicky costume shop stuff for parties, they always have a big rubber nose for foreign nose. Yeah, is a big nose. So that's the only other kind of like prejudice-y kind of like different things that I've seen. But I'm sure there's a lot that I don't even know about. I don't know the words. I don't know the language. I'm sure it goes pretty deep. But yeah, it's funny. All right. So let's upload some. Oh, yeah, that's right. We've still got snacks. I found some. Oh, yeah, and I still have something to drink. Good. Otherwise, it can get pretty desperate. Yeah, I found EmoCandy. I thought that was hysterical. And I think they aren't being very accurate with their interpretation of emo. They are. It does mean emotion in this sense, but I think they just mean improve your mood. All right, so let's switch to the convenience store. All right. Did that chime go off? Yeah, maybe it did. Oh, I'm looking so dark. I gotta go back. Yeah, speaking of shady characters, look at me in the shadows here. Yeah, I've got the angle better, so it's hitting the green screen better, but it's angled a little bit off of me now. So I look very mysterious. All right, so the first thing. So I didn't recognize the company. I didn't recognize. Yeah, there was no. Yeah, wow, that's interesting. There's no huge branding on this, but here we are, EmoCandy. I couldn't resist. I mean, it's just like it's a very like girly, feminine branded, but also very emotional. So it's saying, it's good to be happy. Basically, it's good to change your mood. And so yeah, I don't know if you can see this. So yeah, it's literally EmoCandy. So EmoCandy. And this is the colorful collection. So we have an orange soda and we have a white peach flavor. But I don't know if you can see, I noticed the colors are not very colorful. They look kind of brown and subdued. So these colors look really nice, but the actual candies, maybe because they're made from more natural, less artificial stuff, don't look very good. So I'm going to enjoy my EmoCandies. So I might get into quite a different mood. Yeah, I was hoping when I first saw this, I was hoping it was supposed to be candy that made you into a different like changed your emotion, like made you sad or made you happy. But it's not. It's just candy that is supposed to always make you happy. So uplift you. So here we go. And of course, individually wrapped Japanese candy. So here's our white peach and our orange soda. So let's try orange soda first because I'm a little worried about how that's gonna go. Yeah, so they're not very. Yeah, there must be a very kind of natural. Let's get closer to natural ingredients because they're kind of boring colors. They're not like very vibrant. This is from the colorful collection, and you can barely tell it's supposed to be orange and blue. It's very standard. Oh, yeah. So they're kind of boring. Very much like a lifesaver candy. the initial orange taste was not very good. It's like that grandma candy kind of orange taste. It's okay. I'm trying to figure out the soda. Oh, the soda is probably like a Nalmone kind of flavor. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So it's a pretty bad orange flavor. Not very natural or not very good. I guess because it's hard candy. So the orange is pretty bad, and then it's the soda or the Japanese Nalmone flavor. Mm. It's okay. The orange is really weak though. It's good that it's mixed with a sweeter thing because the orange is yeah, pretty boring. That's weird. Well, my mood is not improving much. Wow. Yeah, that's okay. I have some much bigger hope for white peach. Most white peach things are pretty good in Japan. Okay. Yeah, so not great. Not great. I need a bucket, like at a wine tasting, to spit the snacks into. Yeah, the orange is really bad. It's weird. It's just that really weak, kind of pathetic. You know, I don't know. It's yeah, it's just a really weak, strange orange flavor. Tastes like old candy. You know, that orange flavor that just kind of tastes like it's too old. All right, there we go. White peach. Oh yeah. The white peach for the win. Yeah, very natural. Very, like close to the actual peach, like a peach nectar flavor. Okay, so maybe the bad orange is supposed to bring you down, so you can be lifted back up by the by white peach. Yeah, that's much. Yeah, so I think these are. Yeah, the flavors are weird. They're very muted and kind of mild flavors though. But look at that girl. She's having a emotional experience. Very strange. Yeah. I couldn't resist this packaging. But, I mean, look at that, though. As far as illustrations, I mean, this is very Japan. As far as illustrations on a package, that's pretty nice. I mean, it's a pretty compelling... And it's, everything is kind of transparent and interesting, very pastel. That's interesting branding for a snack. So it stood out right away. In the slogan and everything is handwritten on it. So yeah, very trying to get girls to want to be happy again. If I could only be happy, if there was only a candy that would make me happy. So it's weird though. I'm not seeing any big corporate branding on it. Oh, I guess it's Goodit. Huh. Yeah, I don't recognize any of the company names or anything. Yeah, weird. Usually there's a big, logo or something on it, but this is very camouflaged. So peach is nice. Yeah, peach is really good. It's funny, they do a lot of peach drinks and things in Japan. And it's always pretty good. They never have that. You know how the flavor of canned peaches, that weird kind of old flavor. That's kind of what the orange flavor was. It's kind of like canned oranges. Yeah, very good at getting attention. Yeah. Not bad at all. All right, so 50-50. You gotta pick your it's funny, there's only 2 flavors in there too. Usually like 3 or 5 is a very standard in a variety pack, the colorful selection, but this was only 2. But yeah, very good. Like kind of branding something a little bit different. It really stands out because it's very muted and soft looking from the rest of the stuff in the candy section. Okay. We have to move on. We're moving to the island of Hokkaido. So this is another new brand thing that I that I saw for the first time. And they are potato sticks. So, of course, we're getting all of the salty snacks in. But potato sticks based on ramen flavors, kind of specifically from the Hokkaido area. So Hokkaido is kind of the northern island of Japan that looks very much like Wisconsin, basically. They have heavy snow, and it's where a lot of the agriculture, a lot of beef, pork, dairy industry and everything takes place. So these guys are called North Colors. So North Colors representing the north of Hokkaido. And there are 2 different ramen flavors. So just basically a tonkotsu ramen, which is kind of a thick pork soup, just kind of a salty pork soup, and a miso, and a spicy miso. So I'm really curious if they were able to simulate these flavors very well. Yeah, so North Colors is the brand. Wow. And how they did with the snack. The thing I was very that's fine. And I guess because Hokkaido gets a lot of foreign tourists too, they specifically did some English on this package. So not this original one, but this Santoka ramen has a spicy miso flavor on it. So specifically, yeah, they get a lot of ski tourists, a lot of skiing tourists. So yeah, this was interesting though. Animal free, so it's spicy, a spicy ramen. But if you're worried that they used pork or some ingredients, this one says animal free, so it's just the spicy miso flavor. This one could. They don't say animal free. So yeah, this is interesting. This is really pandering to the tourists because they know there's a lot of vegan, Western tourists, and they know they want to promote their spicy miso, but animal free. Don't worry, all you vegans can try our spicy miso. Okay, so let's start with the regular one. We'll get spicy later. But yeah, the Hokkaido colors of North Colors. Yeah, so basically, like a lot of stuff that I see, it's like a promotion. It's like almost like a part of this company could be getting money from a Hokkaido tourism board or something because they're promoting so heavily the area and the food of the area. And so yeah, just a potato stick. Oh yeah, nice. It's really mild though. That's nice. Yeah, it tastes like a salty tonkotsu ramen, like a cloudy pork fat ramen. Oh, it's nice. Wow. Yeah, it's salty, but it's got that weird savory, pork soup flavor. Wow, these are pretty good and very big. Our package was only $1, I think, but it's a pretty huge package, and you can see it is a kind of unusual. You don't usually see snacks with a little silica gel pack in there, but there's a little gel pack in there. So feels much more like a tourist item, like something you would see at a shop. Those specifically selling like regional promotional goods. But these were just at the convenience store. Wow, really good. Yeah, so a decent like potato stick snack, but the flavoring is really nice. It's very mild, but tastes exactly like a pork ramen. Nice. All right. That's too bad they're not resealable, though. Maybe that's why the silica gel is in there. Because once they're open, they're open. And here is the spicy ramen, Japanese snacks. Oh, yeah. Specifically, they say Japanese snacks. So obviously for tourists. Whoa. Okay. Look at that. So much more orange in color. But not crazy. It doesn't look, like flaming hot Cheetos or anything. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's nice. Yeah. It's still very mild. Like, there's so much potato in each snack, and the coating is not, like, Doritos level of intensity. Yeah, it's nice that a lot of companies here get away from that, like, Pringles, Doritos kind of, like, flavoring where you just, like, it addicts you to having that flavor in your mouth because it's so intense. This is really mild. And again, there's a little gel pack in there. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I'm not saying it very clearly, but it's tonkotsu. Kotsu is the soup. It's a pork fat soup. But tonkatsu, yeah, is the breaded pork chop, basically. Yep, tonkotsu. Kotsu is the name for, if you ever, at a ramen shop, and you ever see this kind of milky, kind of opaque soup. So a lot of ramen, the shio ramen or the shoyu ramen are like still a little bit clear, but the cloudy, very opaque yellow ramen soup is usually pork fat based. So that's tonkotsu, which I can't say. See, literally, if you can't understand my Japanese, imagine how Japanese people think about my Japanese. Oh, these are really good. So if you go skiing in Hokkaido and want something to bring back with you to remember the flavors, yeah, this is really, really good. Yeah, just North Colors is the name of the company. So maybe something specifically made for promoting Hokkaido. I don't see any logos or anything from like official prefecture tourism boards or anything, but this is very much a promotional snack. And they have that very much. So it's not very useful for tourists, but domestic tourists in Japan are very interested in like what a little region or little city is famous for, and then they always bring that back when they go on holiday. Well, this is a pretty good recreation of the kind of the rich, thick, heavy ramen. So because it's colder, it's a colder climate, and they have a lot of pork and they have a lot of dairy. The ramen is really heavy and much more substantial. It's much heavier than other places. Other places are much lighter and thinner noodles and things. But yeah, Hokkaido is very heavy style. I'm trying to figure out how to eat these around a microphone without coating the microphone with my crumbs. Nice. Yeah. These aren't too spicy either. It's not like building up like insanely intense, but you can tell it's the spicy ramen. Spicy miso ramen flavor. That's nice. It's funny too. So maybe they knew tourists would buy a spicy one. They wanted to put, this is a Japanese snack, and they also wanted to put no animal ingredients. Yeah, Japan is starting, like, there are more vegan restaurants and things opening here, but they're not getting intensely friendly to non-meat eaters. And still things that maybe a restaurant would tell you, oh, yeah, no, there's no meat in that. It'll still have, like, fish stock or something. And even, like, soy sauce has basic, like, fish stock or fish oil. Not oil. Some kind of component of fish in it. So you can't get away from eating a living thing. Or eating animal parts in Japan in a lot of ways, because so many of the basic components of Japanese cooking have, at least fish in them. But I think they're slowly getting more. It's funny too, because a lot of the Buddhist monasteries cook completely vegan. So if you want to have a truly vegan, safely vegan meal in Japan, there's some monasteries you can actually that will serve the public. So that's the best place to get a vegan meal still, I think, is a Buddhist temple monastery. Oh, these are good. All right. Well, everything except that weird orange candy. So North Colors of Hokkaido. Oh, very good. I was hoping these weren't going to be too unpleasant. Sometimes, because miso is fermented soybean, like a fermented soybean paste. So sometimes it can be a little strong if they're just using it as a flavoring, and just on potato sticks it might be a little overpowering. Yeah, that's a tricky thing. Is everything, not everything, but a lot of things have a weird taint of fish in Japan. So yeah, you have to be very careful. Even like some steakhouses and things, like you're just eating potatoes or something, and you're like, there's something something going on. So because soy sauce is basically their default seasoning for a lot of things, it's how they would use salt, how we would use salt. A lot of times they'll use soy sauce. So that's always going to fish up a little bit of everything, but you get used to it. You get acclimated. Oh. Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe they should retitle these to the emo. These are emo potato sticks. Yeah, much better. Yeah, I was just suckered by the design of the packaging on EmoCandy. But yeah, these are really good. They do such a good job. Sometimes you really crave that like salty ramen soup. thing, and these really do a good job of recreating that. Yeah, it's very funny. Yeah, the only bad thing about Hokkaido, so it's a separate island, northern island of Japan. Frustrating thing about it is it's getting probably the most Chinese investment. So they're literally building Chinese language, Chinese only ski resorts in Hokkaido. So hopefully that falls apart when the government doesn't allow tourism to continue to Japan or whatever for, political, military reasons. But yeah, that's and I've heard or read stories about that happening in some of the bigger cities where apartment buildings, like apartment blocks, will slowly turn Chinese. So it's the kind of manners and lifestyle, and even like kind of cleanliness, and just as far as like tidiness and like not throwing cigarettes on the ground and stuff. The difference between Chinese and Japanese is a little frustrating and upsetting for Japanese people. So if you get a big group of Chinese people moving into an apartment building, it can literally chase out all of the Japanese residents until the whole apartment is only Chinese. Because just the way that they, hang around outside, talking loudly in their apartments or whatever, like these little social differences between Chinese and Japanese that kind of upset people and like disrupt their what they want for their daily life or where they live. So yeah, that they can chase off a bunch of Japanese people and then have an entire Chinese language apartment building. Yeah, it's scary because sorry. I forget I'm on camera. I'm like but it's very disruptive to kind of Japanese. The kind of harmony and tranquil, atmosphere of Japan is definitely disrupted by that. So I hope it doesn't continue too badly. But they're and they're not reproducing here. So yeah, the Japanese population is inevitably gonna shrink. So hopefully they can find people that agree with or enjoy the thing, the kind of thing that Japanese society has created, as far as just like the being able to easily live together without a lot of disruption and not having, all of the assault, just being out in public, you're not constantly assaulted by horrible things. There's so much less of that here. And if they lose that, that'll be a real shame, because it's probably one of the last places on earth that people aren't constantly attacking each other in public. Oh, my big old water glass. Oh, man. Wow, that was really good. Okay, so potatoes. I should just eat potato chips exclusively. Then I'll always be happy. Depressing. All right. Oh, get out of the shadow. Let's switch back here. Very good. Oh, it must be getting late for you, Matt. Or you fell asleep a long time ago, didn't you? Wow. That was really good. I am happy. I always think I want to try the daring or some kind of obnoxious snack from the convenience store, but that's never gonna be a good thing. But yeah, just want to be able to show you guys the weird variety and how that's. I guess it could happen like in the U.S. or whatever for tourism, but isn't that funny how like a snack can be this like tourist, it'd be promotion for tourism. Yeah, it's very funny. Japan has some very funny things like that, and they're really trying hard to encourage domestic tourism now. Giving a lot of heavy discounts and stuff. The only problem is you have to have your vaccine records and positive or negative, not positive, negative testing and everything to get these discounts. So there's a lot of trouble to do it, but they still are trying to encourage domestic travel, just because the huge rush of Chinese tourism that they had here is gone. Ah, good stuff. Wow. That's nice. So I'm glad I finally got this working. Sorry, there was some technical... I apologize to anybody on Twitch. I think there was a false start on Twitch there. So you might have gotten notified and then it just went dead. But yeah, it's all good. Nice. Mm-mm. Yeah, yeah. I wonder. Oh yeah, Matt. Oh yeah, Matt's saying it's late. Yes, it is late. You better crash, Matt. We got some Sunday night gaming. Hopefully, yeah, hopefully that works for Will. We'll be playing some Sunday nights, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you tomorrow for a little bit of the weekly. But yeah, nice, very good. Yeah, and I'll send you a link, or you'll get notified too. As soon as I get Blade Runner done, I'll upload that so you can take a look. And yeah, and definitely let me know, because the version that I release on YouTube can be different, and I want it to make sure, because there's a lot of people that came from Noble Knights and the Free League site and stuff, to see it. So I want to make sure, and Facebook, the Facebook groups, I want to make sure that it comes across well, and that we don't look like some sadistic maniacs. All right, so take care, Matt. Get some good sleep, and yeah, talk to you soon. Nice. All right, so everything is uploaded, so we should be good. All right. Wow. So yeah, I think I should probably get back to the editing, and before it gets too late and I need to eat dinner. Yeah, the timing for this stream is not been good. I'm trying to get it between lunch and dinner, but it's always overlapping one of them, just because of the weird time difference. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So anything else to show off? Oh, I did a little. I can bring up some of that. See if there's some of that final board game design. I did a little board game thing. Where is that? That was a while ago, though. Oh, sure. Yeah, it's okay. I'll show that next time. I don't think I have any finished, like, rendered stuff of the final version, but hopefully I'll get to see that in print. And oh yeah, I'm doing some for Matt too. I should do those on stream. I should draw that on stream as well. I'm doing some illustrations for a project Matt's writing, so that's awesome. And Matt is incredibly patient and wonderful. Thank you for tolerating my my weird way of approaching things, and my chronic clinical depression and all that good stuff. All right. Yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this week. Yeah, we should be good. All right. Yeah, I'll get back to editing. And yeah, so take a look at the Upturned Table channel if you want to see how all of that Blade Runner stuff went. So you can hear Matt, Will, and I playing through an adventure on talking through an adventure on Blade Runner, the Blade Runner RPG, and the last part of that is going up very soon. But yeah, we will put that out. Thanks, dude. We'll put that out soon, and tomorrow we'll do the weekly. So Chris and I will do the weekly on the Upturned Table channel. So there's a link to that in the description for this stream, and we'll be doing more of that. Yeah, I haven't even prepared the notes for that tomorrow. That'll be fun. But yeah, cool. So you guys, everybody, take care. And we will do this again next week. Yeah, I think the schedule. Yeah, it's going to have to be Thursday again next week, because the schedule, the university stuff is getting in the way on Tuesdays. So no more Tuesdays for a while. So it'll be Wednesday night your time, Thursday afternoon my time, for a little while. But yeah, it's Upturned Table is the thing that's going to happen tomorrow. The hobby tabletop channel. This is Abuse Cartoons. So abusecartoons.com is the a website for the cartoon. GoComics.com/domestic abuse is the and there's a link in the description, the archive link. So everything has been on Go Comics for the last 20 years. And you can read all of the back issues, as well as for the past, about 3 years, you can, almost 4, wow. You can go back, if you take the date of one of the cartoons, you can go back to the date of the live stream and see it being drawn and watch the painful creation process of just about any cartoon for the last, about 3 or 4 years on that website. So gocomics.com/domesticabuse. And if you'd like to support what's going on here, consider becoming a patron. So patreon.com/abusecartoons. And there's levels to get physical books and things and signed art, all that good stuff. So take a look at that. So I think that's going to do it for this week. It was great to have everyone. Dude CX, thanks for hanging out. And Matt, of course. Damon was here. K5, it was good to see you guys. Unknown Girl did not, maybe she's listening, but did not make an appearance. But thank you so much, Unknown Girl, for your support, and John for your support as well. So thank you. Thank you for the good dinner wishes. We'll see. I think I've got some roast beef waiting, so that can't be all that bad. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you again next week. Goodbye.